Hi, my name is Anita Johnson, and I am the CompTIA A+ instructor for Focus Hope Information Technology Center. And today's instructional video is going to be about how to build a PC and install an operating system instructional video. So let's get started. Okay, for today's video and build, there are a lot of particular tools that we could use to build a PC, but for this particular form factor and case, we're only going to need our standard Phillip head screwdriver and our anti-static wrist bracelet. So put that aside, and I'm going to put on my anti-static wrist bracelet. And what this does is it helps to discharge any electrostatic that could damage our components on our motherboard. And I'm going to take the clip and clip it to the case. Okay, so the first thing that I want to install will be our RAM. And what I have here is a DDR3 4 gig memory module. And as you can see, there are slots on the side and as well as a slot on the bottom. So you want to make sure that this slot lines up with the notch lines up with the memory module slot on the motherboard. So I'm going to take it and I am going to put it into the slot, and you want to be careful to take it and line it up, and you want to push down firmly until the latches click. So I have installed a 4 gig DDR3 memory module. So the next thing that I want to install will be our CPU. So I have my CPU here, and I've already put some thermal compound on here. And what this does is dissipate the heat between the CPU, the fan, and the heatsink. So and here, so you want to take the CPU and you want to line it up with the notches. So I'm going to turn the case a little bit here, and we have some triangle notches on points on the CPU, and they're also on the motherboard to help you as a guide to how to install your CPU. So I'm going to go ahead and place the CPU in the slot. And what I have here is a 0 insertion point level, and this is what secures the CPU down on the motherboard. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to close it down and push it under the screw and take the level and clamp it in place. And now I have installed my CPU. The next thing that I'm going to install will be our heatsink with the fan assembly. And so here I have the power connection, and you want to make sure that you line that up with the power on the motherboard, because if you put it any other way, the power connection will be away from the power on the motherboard. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it, line it up with the screw slots on the motherboard and secure it. And okay, now our fan assembly with the heatsink has been secured to the motherboard. Now, what we have here is a PCI Express slot in case that you want to add extra to more video, because we have onboard video on here. I won't be installing a video card, but if you wanted to install a video card, we have a PCI Express slot here where you can install a video card. So the next thing that we're going to install is our hard drive. So what I have here is a 250 gig Barracuda Seagate hard drive. And we have our drive bays here. So I'm going to try to install the hard drive in the bay. But as you can see, there the hard drive is a little bit small to go into the bay. So in order to install the hard drive properly, I am going to use what we call a caddy. So you take the hard drive and you slide it down into the caddy, and there are screw slots which can be easily with the screws that's already on the caddy and put inside the holes that's on the side of the hard drive. And now that the hard drive is secure in the caddy, just take it and slide it down into the bay. Get around here until it clicks. And now our hard drive is secure in the bay. The next thing that I'm going to install will be our DVD drive. So as you can see here, I'm going to turn it where you can see, and the front part of the case, I took the front part of the case off because the DVD drive slides in from the front. So I'm going to take our DVD drive and I'm going to take it and slide it in from the front. And now I have put in our DVD drive. I am going to now replace the cover of the for the computer back on, and it just snaps on easily, and it is secure. Okay, so I'm going to secure our DVD drive down with the screws that I removed to take the drive out. Now our DVD drive is secure in the bay. The next thing that I am going to install will be the power supply. So I'm going to switch my wrist bracelet around on this side and go ahead and put in the power supply. Had several screws to come out, so you want to make sure that you secure your power supply down so it won't slide around in the case. So I had 4 screws that came out, so I'm going to go ahead first and reinstall those screws. And turn it around here so that you can see. I'm going to take the blue one and put it on the hard drive. And connect it to the board. And this one I am going to connect to the DVD drive. Like kind of get in there. Okay. And connect this one to the motherboard as well. Okay. Now what we want to do is give each of our hardware devices power. This here is for our front part of the case as for its power, so I'm going to go ahead and connect them as well. They are color coded on the motherboard. Okay. And power it up. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and hook up our hardware. So I am going to give the DVD power. Okay, give the DVD power here by connecting it to the power supply, and also give the hard drive power. Now we want to go ahead and power up the power supply by connecting it to the power source on the motherboard, and one more power. And everything, all of our components are now hooked up to the power supply. So the next thing we want to do now is put our case back together. So we're going to go ahead and put the cover back on. And we're going to check to make sure that everything is working properly. So we're going to secure the cover to the motherboard and close it. Now that we have partially or completed our inside build, we're going to do our outside build, and we're going to connect monitor, keyboard, mouse to the PC through the ports on the back. So what I have here, I have two power cords, one for the monitor and one for the PC, and I have the video connector for the monitor and the PC. So first I am going to put in the VGA for the monitor. So I'm just going to lay it down flat and connect to, step over a little bit so they can look inside over here, and connect it to the monitor. You want to line up your 15-pin VGA cord to the port on the back and secure and I'm going to go ahead and put the other 15 pin on the PC. Give the monitor some power. Not going to put it in the outlet as of yet. Now I'm going to give the PC power and just waiting. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect our keyboard with the USB port to the USB slot in the back, as well as with our USB mouse. Set the monitor up. want to arrange your cords so they won't be tangled, so it have easily access. And now I am going to take the monitor as well as the power to the PC and plug it in my outlet power, my outlet strip over here. May need to move the monitor a little bit. Okay, and we're going to boot her up. So come around this way. Hard boot the PC. So push the power button and a blue light comes on. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the power on for our monitor. Which doesn't look right. And as you can see, the operating system is already on, but I'm going to take that operating system down and reinstall our Windows 7 media to the operating system. Okay, we have completed our build of our PC, and now we are getting ready to install the operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the PC, and there's a Windows 7 already on here, so what I'm going to do is delete that partition off and reinstall Windows 7. So can you see me? Okay. So it's gonna take a minute when those files is loading. And while we're doing that, again, this is a instructional video on how to build a PC and how to install Windows Media or Windows 7. We're doing Windows 7. So while those files are loading, it's going to take a bit. Shouldn't take much longer for them to load. And we're going to go ahead and delete the partition that's already on the hard drive and reinstall Windows 7 again. So the operating system is starting up. And so now we have our installation window. And so what it asks for the language to install, the time, and the current time and format, and the keyboard input. So everything is already correct here. We want English. The time and date, we're going to make it have it as is English as well. And keep it US and click next. And it says install now. So what do you want to do? You have a couple of things that you want to do. You want to install, you want to repair. So what to know, you can go ahead and click on that link to what to know about before installing in Windows or repair your computer. So we're going to go ahead and install. And go ahead and accept the license terms. And what we're going to do is install. Okay, so we're getting ready to install. So this is the partition that I'm going to install on. So I'm going to click next and click OK. And now it's loading the files. So give it a minute. Okay, setup is getting ready to complete. So as I was saying before, you always should set aside a time to make uh, to prepare for your installation of your operating system, because it does take uh, a long time to do it. So you want to make sure that you have that time set aside so that your installation will be successful. So now what setup is doing is preparing the computer for first use. It's checking for video, sort of a pre-post, making sure that that the video is working and all of the other components are usable. So what I'm going to go in here, you see, as you can see, we installed Windows 7 Professional. So what you can do, you can go in and you can go create yourself a username for a username account for your computer to distinguish it on the network, or and give your computer a name. So I'm just going to go and name this computer Anita, and it's going to say Anita's PC. Better yet, I'm going to name it Focus Hope, since it is. Click next, and you can create yourself a password if you would like to lock your computer or not. So I'm not going to create a password this time. And at this present, you can enter in a product key. So if you don't have a product key, you can always come back and put the product key in later. So I'm just going to go next and install the product key later. And it goes in, and as you set up your Windows, it helps protect your computer and improve Windows automatically. So you always want to use the recommended settings. So I did the recommended settings, and you want to set the time for your computer. So we live in Michigan, so we use Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to make that Eastern Standard Time, and today is September the 19th, 2014, and I'm going to click next. It's finalized. Windows 7 Professional is finalizing out your settings, and now we come to a welcome screen. It is now preparing the desktop. And now, as you can see, your desktop has been prepared, and you can see your desktop is visible to you now. What is happening here down on the taskbar line is checking for to see if there's any network connections, and because there's an X here. So what I'm going to do, ready? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to connect the RJ45 to the network port on the back, or the NIC card on the back of the computer. And what we're going to do is go in and check for updates for our operating system. Hi, this is Anita again, and of course we're continuing with our instructional video on how to build a PC and install a operating system. So I've already done my build, and that is complete, and I have connected the monitor, keyboard, and the mouse. And I've also already installed the operating system. So now what we're going to do is go on and get updates for our operating system. So let's get started. Okay, so what we have here is our desktop, and what we're going to do is go in and check for our updates for our Windows 7 Media. So I'm going to go ahead, click on the Start button, go to the Control Panel, and then we're going to go out there, under Security and Systems and Security, and we are going to click on Windows Update. And so, as you can see, there's an X, which means that we need to go out and check for updates for this computer. So what we're going to do is go ahead and check for updates. Because this is a newly installed operating system, it tells you that there, as you can see here, that most recent check for updates is never, and updates that were installed are never. And so we're going to go ahead and say, so it says here, install new Windows Update software, and we're going to go ahead and click install now. So right now it's downloading and installing updates. So this is going to take a little while. So I'm going to come back after our updates have been installed, and we're going to go a little farther with our installation of our software. Okay, we're back, and after checking for updates, came back and it says download and install updates for your computer. And as you can see, there's 6 important updates that are available and 13 optional updates that are available. But you want to make sure that you get the important updates, because these important updates have to do with the operating of the operating system. So now, as you can see on the most recent check updates, you can see where we checked today for updates, and we have yet to install any updates. And so here we can go ahead and install our updates. And you can also schedule your computer to do updates automatically. As you can see here, we have a dialog box that talks about Windows will install updates as scheduled, and that these updates will be installed the next time you shut down your computer, or at 3:00 a.m. on the 23rd of September. Installing updates might cause your computer to restart, so make sure that you save your work. So we're going to go ahead and install these updates. And we must agree to the Microsoft terms, so we're going to go ahead and accept that. We're going to go ahead and accept that and click finish. And now what is the operating system is preparing to install, and it tells you that it's installing updates 1 of 6. So this is going to take a little time. So what we're going to do is come back after our updates have installed.